Yo, before this video starts, I just want to say I have a cold, so if my voice sounds a little off in this video, that's why. What up, y'all? It's Lucas. We're back with another YouTube video. Today, we're going to be talking about how is Better Call Saul going to end. If you don't know, Better Call Saul premieres on April 18th, and that will be the final season of the show. And probably the final installment in the Breaking Bad universe. Unless you count Slip and Jimmy, which I'm not. So let's get into some of the theories. A lot of the characters' fates are up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen to them. Kim WEXLER and Howard Hamlin, for example. Let's talk about what might happen to Kim WEXLER. So if you're caught up with Better Call Saul, you now know that Kim WEXLER is getting involved with Saul's antics. Getting involved with the cartel, illegal practices, etc. Kim found a new side to herself that she didn't know existed. Because she really enjoys doing this crime with Saul. But that begs the question, why does she not appear in Breaking Bad? Now the true answer is because they didn't plan that far ahead, but they have to have a fate plan for her on why she's not in the show. Whether she doesn't appear because it doesn't get into Saul's personal life, or it's for a much more sinister reason. I for one believe that she might die in season 6. Being involved with the cartel is a very dangerous business. There's a good chance she ends up dying at the cartel's hand and Saul has to be hush-hush about it. Maybe even Gustavo Fring's hand, who knows. Kim WEXLER probably isn't that street smart, so maybe she makes a big mistake. Or instead of her dying, maybe she goes to Ed the Disappearer. We've seen how effective that guy is. He made Walter White himself disappear. Walter White was one of the most wanted criminals in America. So maybe Saul calls up the guy to get Kim WEXLER out of there because she's in trouble and her life is on the line. Kim WEXLER is one of the few people that Saul cares about and he will go to any length to protect her. So for all we know, he calls him up and she goes bye-bye. But if this is the case, there's a small problem with this. Robert Forrester, rest in peace, was the actor that played Ed the Disappearer, and he unfortunately passed away in 2019. So maybe they'll have an associate of his make her disappear or something, I don't know, that's up to them. But it's still a possibility. Or the third and more likely option, that she cuts Saul out of her life.
I can't do this anymore. Kim.
Saul is a bit morally challenged at times. He just doesn't seem like the type of guy to have a wife for very long. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if he went a little bit too far with his illegal practices and Kim WEXLER was sick of it. Probably a bit more likely than her dying at the cartel's hand or disappearing, but you never know with these guys. Now let's move on to Howard Hamlin, the head of Hamlin McGill. Even though he went to therapy and he seems like he's over Chuck's death, you know he's not. Jimmy even reinforced that it was his fault that Chuck died. Maybe the grief gets too much for him and he kills himself. He's a really tough character to figure out what is going to happen to him. Or nothing could happen to him and he'd still be the head of Hamlin McGill. I'm just pointing out things that could happen because he's not in Breaking Bad. His character is not as interesting as Kim WEXLER's though. Now let's move on to some other guys such as LALO and NACHO, or IGNACIO, whatever you want to call him. Now at the very end of season 5, you can see LALO is not very happy with NACHO. I mean, to be fair, NACHO basically just tried to kill his whole family, so you can't blame the guy. But in Breaking Bad, when they kidnap Saul, he yells about IGNACIO and LALO.
No, it wasn't me, it was Ignacio. He's the one. Lalo didn't send you? No, Lalo.
Which doesn't mean anything, because Gus could have lied to Saul and told him they were completely fine. Maybe as a scare tactic or to keep Saul under his thumb. But does Lalo kill Nacho? Because he's clearly after him to go kill him, but does he succeed? Or does Nacho kill Lalo? In a fist fight, Nacho's not killing Lalo, but we don't know that's how it's gonna go down. Or will they both be killed by someone else, such as Gustavo Fring? I mean, this guy is ruthless. People forget how ruthless Gus Fring is. He will do anything it takes to stay in power.
I will kill your infant daughter.
We know that for sure. Or maybe Lalo or Ignacio or them both end up in jail. Again, it's hard to decide with these two. All the information about them we have in Breaking Bad is that Saul thinks they are alive. Which I'm not saying they're definitely not alive, but just keep your thoughts open. Another theory about Nacho and Lalo I didn't consider is that Nacho's on the run. I mean, he knows Lalo is gonna absolutely execute him when he catches him. So maybe Nacho went to Ed the Disappearer. I mean, have you seen Lalo? I don't want him going after me either. That guy is scary. I was also reading up on some other stuff and maybe Saul helps Nacho fake his own death. I would really like this one. I think it's pretty interesting. So Nacho goes to Saul for help and Saul knows the guy who knows the guy, so he's going to be able to fake his death pretty easily. I think in the most likely scenarios, Nacho gets away from Lalo. Whether that's by running away or that's by faking his own death, I just don't see Nacho confronting Lalo and killing him. Unless Nacho worked with Jimmy, Kim, and Mike to take down Lalo. And Gus, can't forget him too. Because Lalo really is a threat to them all. Some more than others, but overall a threat to them all. Now I'm going to lock in my picks for each character's fate. Starting off with Kim WEXLER. So my official fate for Kim WEXLER is going to be disappeared. I'm going to say that Ed the Disappearer has something to do with it. But Saul gets way too worried for Kim's well-being and sends her off. And Kim reluctantly agrees with him. Next up, Howard Hamlin. This is going to be my wild card pick and I'm going to say he kills himself. Now I know that's a bit of a crazy pick and it's a bit out there, but I'm saying it. Howard Hamlin, deceased. specifically by a noose in the closet. Saul makes a reference to that in Breaking Bad. Ignacio's up next. I'm gonna say Ignacio is on the run. I don't think it ever shows what exactly happens to him, maybe even leaving it up for a spinoff. But I'm gonna say Nacho is on the run and he's getting away from LALO. Now, LALO, I'm gonna say he dies. I'm assuming that someone's gonna take care of him. I just don't see a world where he lives. He has gone absolutely rogue and someone's gonna put him down. I'm calling it now. These are my predictions. Better watch out for him. Now for the last segment of the video, let's talk about how the actual series is gonna end. I'm gonna say the show keeps going on up until Walter White first meets Saul. The second their hands go to shake, the series cuts off. End of series. I think that'd be a dope ending for the show. Maybe it's just me being a little corny, but I would like it. But I think it should lead up right until Breaking Bad starts for the most part. Even though Breaking Bad doesn't technically start when he first meets Saul, I think that'd be a good place to end the series. But let me know in the comments how you think the series will end. This is Lucas signing off. Have a blessed day.